evening and welcome to this edition of News Leader on 6. I'm Jim Fuller. Tonight we're going to deviate from the regular schedule because we have reached the end of the year, and tonight we're going to bring you some of the highlights of News Leader throughout 2016. We'll have that for you in just a moment.
His word brought life. His life brought love into this world. We hope that you share that love and that life this Christmas.
Love came down to earth, and that's what this season's all about. I believe it's something that a whole lot more of us could use a lot of. And from all of us to all of you,
Merry Christmas!
Welcome back. The Coffee County Public Building Authority, which oversees the management of the Manchester Coffee County Conference Center, met last week. The Conference Center has been in the news lately due to consistent monetary losses and the resignation of the center's director. The board has recently hired Rebecca French as the new director. She has instituted new policies and procedures for the center, which treats all customers equally instead of allowing some groups to pay less or nothing to use the facility. All prices on goods and services will be set at a level to at least cover costs. Some equipment will be purchased instead of rented or leased because in some cases it is cheaper. The board expressed gratitude for Mrs. French's work to this point. News Leader's John Gray spoke with Ms. French about her new position.
All right, folks, I'm at the Manchester Coffee County Conference Center today, and we've just followed up a board meeting of the Conference Center. I'm with the interim director, Miss Rebecca French. And Rebecca, how's things going over here since the turnaround, the changeover, and all of a sudden you have this facility dumped in your lap to try to pull together and operate?
It's been challenging, but it's been fun, and it's been rewarding already. So we've come together as a team, and we're accomplishing a lot in a short amount of time.
Well, I noticed today in the meeting that you were talking about finances and talking about plans and operating procedures and presenting P&L. And, I was very impressed the way you went through your paces there on that with the board. And I don't think they asked a question that you couldn't answer. So that was pretty impressive to me. What in your estimation do you see as the new and fun things that are going to be happening around here and the future of the Conference Center here in Coffee County?
We have a paddling festival coming up, and we also have some talks about indoor laser tag, traveling indoor laser tag coming. We have a lot going on, but some of it's private and some of it's public. We have a couple festivals that are hopefully coming this way, closer towards Bonnaroo, and I can't think of anything. I know there's a lot going on. I just can't think of it right now.
That's okay. I know you have plans because with this facility being as nice, as big, and as wonderful and usable as it is, part of your job is going to be to get out and promote this place and make people aware of the availability and what they can accomplish here with this great facility.
A big push needs to be availability, but also affordability. We need to get public events here that have left back, and we need to get new events here that are school-driven or government-driven, and get that training in our county back where people don't have to travel to learn and grow. They can come to this facility and learn and grow and not have to travel far from home. So
and speaking about affordability, when you look at pricing here and look at going to Nashville or going to Suwanee or going to Chattanooga, this is a very affordable facility here for someone to have an event.
We're on average a third of their price. So with not giving up any of the amenities that they have. We still have the linens, we still have the staffing, we still have the bartenders, we still have all that they have in big cities. We just have a better price, and we have a great location right off the interstate and in between Chattanooga and Nashville. So
Rebecca French, good luck to you, my dear.
Thank you.
We'll be watching.
We'll be right back after these messages.
All right, the cat's out of the bag at Carroll Street Liquor in Tullahoma. Now you know where to go if you're planning a get-together and want the ideal wine or spirit. Party planning can be stressful, but at Carroll Street Liquor you'll find everything you need. Mixers, gift sets, and all of your favorite spirit brands. So if you're feeling the pressure to pull off the ideal party, come to Carroll Street Liquor and select among the seemingly endless supply of wines, spirits, gift sets, and more. Your perfect party, it's in the bag with Carroll Street Liquors.
Welcome back. The Tennessee Department of Health announced this week it has received confirmation from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention of the first person in the state to test positive for the Zika virus disease. The infected individual had recently traveled to South America before returning to East Tennessee. Except in pregnant women, Zika virus is almost always a very mild illness, and for most people, testing is not necessary. Approximately 80% of those infected never show symptoms of the disease, while approximately 20% show only mild symptoms. There is no vaccine to prevent infection and no specific antiviral treatment for Zika viral infection. Its most common symptoms are fever, rash, joint pain, and red eyes. TDH Commissioner John Dreisner said, quote, "We have been expecting an imported case of Zika virus disease, and we believe more infections are likely as people travel to and from areas where the disease is currently being transmitted." Zika virus, with its association with the birth defect microcephalopathy, is understandably scary and has captured all of our attention, but the good news is mosquito bites which transmit Zika are entirely preventable.
The list of affected areas includes many countries in the Caribbean and South and Central America. TDH recommends the following for travelers to protect themselves against mosquitoes infected with the Zika virus. Wear long, loose, and light-colored shirts and pants, and wear socks. Tucking in shirts and pants and tucking in pants into socks will help form a barrier. Wear closed shoes or boots instead of sandals. Apply repellents to skin often and avoid perfumes, colognes, and products with fragrances that might attract mosquitoes. While public health and medical professionals have a good body of knowledge about many mosquito-borne diseases, there is still much to learn about the Zika virus disease. At present, there are still questions about its transmission through sex and other avenues. Pregnant women or people who develop a fever within 1 week of returning from an affected country should contact their personal health care professional for advice.
Governor Bill Haslam and Department of Economic and Community Development Commissioner Randy Boyd, along with Brown-Forman Corporation officials, announced on Wednesday expansion plans for the Jack Daniel Distillery. The $140 million investment will be used to construct 2 new barrel houses, as well as modify and expand existing bottling facilities to provide additional bottling and shipping capacity to meet future demand. As a result, 30 new jobs will be created in Moore County. The Jack Daniel Distillery underwent a separate expansion less than 3 years ago, which included the addition of stills, barrel warehouses, and related infrastructure. The project represented an investment of $103 million and the creation of 94 jobs.
In addition to the new barrel houses and bottling facility modifications, the current expansion will also involve renovations to the visitor center to support increased tourism and enhance the visitor experience. Last year, the distillery received more than 275,000 guests from around the world, officially registered by the U.S. government in 1866 and based in Lynchburg, Tennessee. The Jack Daniel Distillery, Lem Motlow, proprietor, is the oldest registered distillery in the United States and is on the National Register of Historic Places. Jack Daniel's is known for the world-famous Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 Tennessee Whiskey, Gentleman Jack Rare Tennessee Whiskey, Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Tennessee Whiskey, and Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey, and the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Fire. We'll be back in a moment with more News Leader on 6.
All I have to do is think about what I was physically before and what I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to that original situation.
The overall mission of the rehab team is always what is best for the patient and how we can facilitate maximum potential from every resident.
Well, the most important thing to me is that I'm allowed to do whatever I want to do,
Everyday miracles at Life Care Centers of America.
Harton CEO Russ Spray, who made this brief statement about the hospital name change.
Thanks for Diane for allowing me this moment to share with you some really exciting news about Harton Regional. Yesterday, 10 o'clock, we unveiled a new name for our hospital. Same hospital, same great people for the 49 plus years that Harton's been a part of this community. But yesterday, 10 o'clock, Tennova Healthcare Harton is a new name. We're same affiliation with Community Health Systems out of Nashville, but one of 17 hospitals across the state as part of that network. So exciting times for us, lots of good things in store. I think most importantly, most important for people in this room, 49 years, I was telling some people yesterday, 49 years ago in January, the doors Harton Regional opened for the first time. Next year, January, there's a time capsule buried 25 years ago, 50 years since the opening, and so that we'll lay that open next year and see what's there. But lots of great things happen every day in this community and take care of so many people. So appreciate that. A lot more to come about Tennova Healthcare Harton, but appreciate all your support. Thank you.
Scott Shasteen was recently named the new athletic director at Motlow State Community College. Jim spoke with Scott about his new position.
I'm getting settled in. I'm 2 weeks in today, so I'm getting settled in and starting to learn what I'm supposed to be doing.
Is this somewhat challenging to you? You've been the sports information director there forever, and I know you're pretty familiar with the Motlow sports program, but I guess there are other things that are challenging as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's such a different realm from what I've been doing. You know, reporting on the games and reporting on the players that we sign and that sort of thing is one side, but the administrative side of athletics in the college environment, you know, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of deadlines, there's a lot of things that you have to do when it comes to recruiting and signing student athletes. So it's a lot different. I'm continuing to do the sports information side as well. So for right now, I'll be filling both roles.
Wearing multiple hats and doing a lot of different things at the same time is not anything new to you, however, though, is it?
No, it's really not. As you know, we were talking during the break how many different roles I've had just being in this studio.
Exactly.
Whether it was political or talk shows, I've always enjoyed staying busy and doing the things that I love to do. Whenever you can do the things that you love to do, and as a hobby, you know, it's great when you can do them and sort of supplement your income. It's even better, and,
sure.
And I've always been blessed with the opportunity to do things that I love to do.
You mentioned recruiting, so I'm pretty sure that as athletic director, you've got something to say about the athletes that are recruited to Motlow. Is that a fair statement?
I will get to have input. Yeah, that would be fair. Obviously, I'm not out recruiting, but I think we have a general idea of the type of student athlete that we want at Motlow to represent Motlow, because as you know, when the student athletes are out in the community, they're representing Motlow College directly. And so we have an idea, and one of the things that I'll be trying to do early in this process is to sort of identify the type of student athlete in the overall picture that Motlow College wants to recruit and to represent the college out in the community. So sort of behind the scenes, I'll have a little input there, but when it comes to going out and recruiting student athletes, our coaches have done a tremendous job of that, and will continue to do that.
So as athletic director, you're over, I know, basketball, baseball, softball?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, so it's kind of different kinds of athletes that you're needing, but I'm just wondering, I would think there is probably some compelling reasons why a high school athlete might choose to take that junior college route. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there are different reasons. Some students do it because of grades. Some students do it because they're just not ready for that big 4-year university environment. Some students do it simply they want to stay home, you know, and the ones around here that play, they want to stay home and play. But I think we get a number of student athletes from different states, and when we talk to them, especially like when I interview them on my show, what brought you to Lynchburg? What made you decide, you know, you're from Detroit. What made you decide to come to Lynchburg? And inevitably, it's pretty standard answer. When they came to the campus and they saw that campus, and you know, it's just a beautiful environment. We take it for granted because we see trees and all that stuff all the time. But folks from other areas sometimes don't. And when they come there and they come to Tullahoma and they just fall in love with it, you know, there's not a lot of distractions here for student athletes. They can focus on their schoolwork, they can focus on their team, and there's not a lot of distractions, and that's an advantage for us.
Would a high school athlete, maybe not a 5-star or 4-star, but a middle of the road kind of athlete, would they not probably get more playing time, more experience, perhaps more coaching at Motlow than they might in a 4-year school?
Absolutely, and I think that's another reason why student athletes sometimes choose to go the junior college route, is because it's much more hands-on. It's not the big corporate environment that a 4-year university can be. So I think that's a great point, and another reason why students choose Motlow.
I would guess that, or it looks like to me, that being an athletic director is sort of something pretty natural for you. I don't know if did you ever think about doing that in the past? I mean, your entire life has been spent around sports, I would think.
Well, you could go out to Motlow right now and survey some of the people that I've worked around, especially in the last 5, 6, 7 years. We've had significant turnover in the athletic director position, and I've just chatted about they should give me a chance to do that. You know, who's more invested in Motlow athletics than me? I'm not going anywhere. We need stability in that department. So, you know, did I ever think it? No, not really. But have I talked about it and wished that I could get the opportunity to do it? Absolutely. Now, as we've learned in our lives, sometimes be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. Right. So I've got it, and now we'll see.
We'll be right back in a moment.
Here at Manchester Funeral Home, we know the importance of living and working in our local community, because it's those families who we serve during their time of need honorably. We believe in supporting local business and offer only 100% Batesville caskets, the best in the industry and a driver of our local economy. If you want straightforward and fair pricing while working with the people you know, choose Manchester Funeral Home, serving your community since 1932. And pre-planning and pre-funding can be the best gift you ever leave your loved ones. Call us to pre-arrange. Manchester Funeral Home. Our family, caring for your family since 1932.
Welcome back. Special agents from the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation have obtained indictments for 3 individuals in connection to an ongoing juvenile human trafficking investigation. After receiving information from the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, TBI agents opened a case on July the 8th, 2015, marking the first case initiated under a change in state law giving TBI original jurisdiction to investigate allegations of human trafficking in Tennessee. During the course of the investigation, agents developed information that Cassidy Hill, Christopher Hill, and Amy Farrell participated in an effort to, over several months, to traffic a 17-year-old for the purpose of commercial sex at various locations. That was various locations in Montgomery County.
On March 7th of this year, the Montgomery County Grand Jury returned indictments charging Cassidy Hill, age 25 of Tullahoma, and her husband, Christopher Hill, age 32 of Nashville, with 8 counts of each trafficking for commercial sex acts and 2 counts each of money laundering. The grand jury also returned an indictment charging Amy Farrell, age 24 of Shelbyville, with 1 count of trafficking for commercial sex acts. This week, authorities notified all 3 individuals of their new charges at 2 local jails, where they remain incarcerated on unrelated charges. All will subsequently be booked at the Montgomery County Jail at a later date.
People who own or train Tennessee walking horses will now be able to video the inspection of their horses prior to showing them. After the Tennessee legislature passed a new law recently, State Representative Judd Matheny, who carried the bill in the Tennessee House of Representatives, was a guest on the What a Horse show last week and explained why he introduced the legislation and how it will affect those impacted by it. Tell them what the video bill does, though, first.
Well, it gives us the ability to video the inspections when the USDA or show or anybody else inspects our horse. It doesn't give us the ability to interfere, but it does give us the ability that we can, the owner or an agent can video the inspections, which we've had many problems with. And before we show some of that video, I'm going to let you tell them the good part.
Well, absolutely. Let me give a little bit of background on it's House Bill 2189 is the bill we're discussing, and today, March the 7th, it'll be on the House floor tonight. It's number 4 on the calendar, and I'm confident of its passage. It should pass unanimous. We may always have a holdout or two, but it's going to pass with an overwhelming majority, I'm sure. It passed the state Senate. My colleague Jim Tracy passed it in the state Senate about a week ago. Senator Jim Tracy did a great job. It did pass unanimous there, 29-0. And what this bill basically does, and Jerry, I'm proud to have the opportunity to carry this bill. For 5 years now, you and I voiced our frustration over the USDA being quite onerous to our trainers and breeders. And it's been very difficult on a state level to do anything to protect our interests, and this is a huge step in that process. What House Bill 2189 does, it's very simple. It just allows anybody, and this is a unique bill in several areas. It's been a kind of a bridge builder, and I'll explain that in a minute. But what House Bill 2189 does is it allows anybody that is having an animal of any kind, in this case we're mainly talking about the walking horse, but it allows anybody that has an animal that is being inspected by any government agency, whether it be state or federal, for any purpose, to have that inspection videoed by the owner or their agent. We put the agent language in there just in case it's an adversarial situation. Somebody could designate, or if a breeder or trainer can't be there, they can designate somebody to actually perform the inspection. And in the legislative record, we put the intent of the bill is that the person making the video should be kept no more than a reasonable distance away. We would say a reasonable distance would be outside of the immediate vicinity of injury from an animal, perhaps if it kicked or so. 8 to 10 feet would be a reasonable distance. But the bottom line is the USDA, the Tennessee Department of Agriculture, no government or quasi-government agency could ban you or set you to a relegated filming area that's unreasonably distant from your animal. And we want to do this to be able to protect the integrity of the Walking Horse Association, to be able to protect folks' investment, and for the safety of the animal. And also to be able to keep the federal government in check. Not all inspectors from the federal government have been adversarial, but many have, too many have. It's damaged the industry. Myself and Senator Tracy, along with you, have been able to hopefully to remedy that just a little bit. Now, when I talk about it kind of being a bridge builder, Tennessee Farm Bureau jumped on board with this and was very enthusiastic about its passage. They're huge friends of mine, 650,000 members across the state, very strong, probably the strongest lobbying organization in the state. They don't endorse things lightly, especially if something's going to pass anyway. They usually sit out, but they understand that this has been a big problem in Tennessee. They also understand that although this bill, and I've served on the Agriculture Committee in the past, I'm very familiar with how the Agriculture Committee in the House and also the Farm Bureau and other advocacy organizations, we like to keep a clear line between domestic and agricultural animals. Usually laws don't merge that deal with both of them because they are totally separate entities. One is for recreation and a family member, and other is generally for food and competition, although horses are family members also. We have 3, but they're definitely family members. But this bill blurs that line and deals with both domestic and agricultural animals, and everybody was fine with that. Normally we have to delineate that. But folks have understood that this is a great consumer protection bill. It's a great bill for the citizens of Tennessee. And I would even say that PETA and the Humane Society of Tennessee have supported this bill. And they stopped me in the hallway last week and said, we've got no reason to oppose it. It's a good bill. Doesn't do anything to inhibit the mission of those seeking to protect the animals, and does nothing but embolden the citizens' ability to be able to protect their animals. And so the bill will pass tonight. I'm ultimately certain of that. The governor will have 10 days to sign it, so hopefully by the 17th to 19th of March, when you have a trainer show in Shelbyville, we'll have a copy of that law in our pocket if anybody gets out of hand.
More News Leader on 6 is coming up after these messages.
Trucks, trucks, and more trucks. Keith Barnett here with the Russell Barnett Automotive family, and we have your next truck. From the Ford F-Series, the Ram, Chevrolet, or the GMC, then look no further than the Russell Barnett family. With over 350 new and pre-owned trucks to choose from, now is the time to buy. Stop by one of our 5 locations. That's Russell Barnett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Chevrolet GMC, Ford of Winchester, and Russell Barnett Ford and Kia of Tullahoma, or visit us on the web at russellbarnett.com. Why buy anywhere else?
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
And we'll take a look at your weather forecast at this time. Our record high was in 1982 at 74 degrees. The record low was in 1935 at 7 degrees. The average high on this day is 50 and the average low is 32. Mostly clear weather in the forecast tonight with a low expected of around 36. A 30% chance of showers in the forecast for Wednesday with a high of 56 and a low of 48. Partly cloudy weather on tap for Thursday with a high of 48 and a low of 32. And that's our News Leader report for this evening. We invite you to join us each Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6, 8, and 10 for News Leader on 6. You have a good evening.